Let's go to caller on line 2. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Jiapa, briefly please.
Okay, I'm going to try. You know, they say he who controls the media controls the mind. Now, you know, if we really look at it, we are living in times of Jahiliyyah. Darkness is present here a lot because we are looking for answers in the wrong places. Now, the Quran is a revelation for all times and all places, and this is what everybody is saying, from Maulana Suleiman to Mullah to Maulana Bam to the other Ali. This is basically, we got to go back to the Quran and the Sunnah. Now, coming back to, you know, the computer, the cell phones, modern technology is used for the wrong reasons. Now, the various radio stations have been used positively, example, the different lectures and programs like the one we're having now. Undoubtedly, you know, it impacts positively on lots of people. Now, yes, the morale of the Ummah is low, and we need to highlight how easy it is to enter Jannah and not how difficult it is to enter Jannah. Because, you know, we need to raise children with love and compassion. I know we often reminded that bringing up children is a modern day jihad, but we need to get our children to stand strong against, you know, brainwashing, greed, worldly evil, and the only way we can do it is by means of correct tarbiyah. You know, we need to weigh, you know, as Maulana Suleiman Mullah said, the evil and the good. You know, the benefits of this so-called movie. You know, what is so good about it? Sadly, you know, apparently the arrivals now is making some of us wake up and smell the coffee. I think this is terrible. As Maulana Suleiman says in his lectures, sin is in the eyes of the beholder. Now, you know, South Africa is a glaring example of how unhappy Allah is with us. Our language, traditions, fashions are westernized. As you said, Maulana, sensationalism, it's the order of the day. You know, we sin, we justify our sins, you know. And the thing is, there's lots of subliminal messages in everything. Our qiyamah starts when we die, so we shouldn't worry about when the Dajjal will emerge. Right. Our salvation lies in going back to the Quran and the Sunnah.
You make key points. Jazakumullah for that. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. My apologies to all the callers. I got to rush you there because the time is really limited. And also to all those who have sent the many emails and the SMSs. I can't read all of them out. What I'm doing is I'm just trying to somehow bring them in broad questions, and then hoping that the answers will then encompass whatever questions or comments you have. Let's just take one more call before we go back to our panelists. Brother from Durban, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Ji, brother.
Maulana and to the panel. I hope I don't put my foot wrong here, but see, as Islamic media, you're doing a wonderful job, and I've said this before, and we've got Channel Islam and other radio stations, and we've got the print media and so forth. But we're not taking this out, you know, we're being too reactive. We're not being proactive. You've got, just on your panel, you've got such eminent scholars who can penetrate the mainstream media, and I think it will be a very effective if from time to time, I'm not only talking about Radio Islam, but you know, include all the Islamic radio stations, all the Islamic print media, electronic media, get into the mainstream, send out people who know their onions, like the people like the scholars you've got on your panel, and there are plenty others. And they will make an impact. I don't even know what this Arrivals is about. Tonight is the first time I heard of it. But if we are more proactive, then, you know, like Arrivals and so forth will start having less of an effect.
Okay. Jazakumullah for the comment.
Shukran, it's Umar Farooq.
Jazakumullah for the Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Yes, it's just gone 23 minutes to 10. You are listening to a special program on the Arrival series here this evening on Radio Islam. And the panelists this evening on the panel discussion, Maulana Suleiman Mullah, Maulana Ibrahim Bam, and Maulana Yusuf Abed. Now, Maulana Suleiman Maulana Ibrahim spoke before we went to the callers about some of the inconsistencies as far as the so-called facts are concerned. More from a worldly perspective in terms of the Illuminati and how they're controlling and how they interpret certain things with regards to Dajjal. But from an Islamic perspective also, there are some serious concerns. I think the one caller alluded to the fact that, you know, unjustifiably and unjustly they lay blame with regards to the death of Hassan radiallahu at the feet of Muawiyah radiallahu. Also, one of the SMSs and many of the emails have said that they have one episode there where they talk about the Kaaba and the spiritual effect that moving 7 times around the Kaaba has, and it's got something to do with energy, and energy moves anti-clockwise, etc. And at the end, the comment is made, so if you are a non-Muslim, does it mean that you are now deprived because you don't have the opportunity of circumambulating the Kaaba 7 times? And the answer is then given, no, you're not deprived. Any ritual that you perform, as long as you're worshipping the one Creator, and as long as you do it with dedication and sincerity, you can then draw the same benefit. So sometimes you can get carried away. Hey, look at what these guys are saying. It makes so much sense. Look at the dollar bill and the one eye and the pyramids. But we don't appreciate the potential harm or the harm in these kind of subtle messages that are coming across.
Yeah, Maulana, mashallah, I think you encompassed it very aptly. Just to follow up on that hadith, and we need to understand here that just as we need to follow hadiths that are authentic, we equally need authentic interpretations of the hadith. This is very important. So a person could well present before you a hadith of Bukhari or Muslim or any other authentic book, but then the interpretation and the implementation and the application of that hadith might be a self-taught process, and that's not verified. And obviously this is exactly what we got here. قَالُوا وَمَا لُبْثُهُ عَلَى الْأَرْضِ يَا رَسُولَ اللَّهِ. And then Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam gave that يَوْمٌ كَالسَّنَةِ وَيَوْمٌ كَالشَّهْرِ. And then now to interpret this yawmun as that, this is completely batil, it's fasid, there's no basis to it. It doesn't feature as shaz also in the books of hadith or in the interpretations of hadith. So we need to understand this here very clearly, and this is also part of the overall plan where they present you with the hadith and a distorted interpretation of the hadith. So the text is original, it's authentic, but the interpretation is not verified by the scholars who enjoy the necessary sciences. So definitely, we need to understand it. Then on the second point, Maulana, and that's a very, very integral part, as-sahabatu kulluhum adul. I mean, we know when we talk of jarh and ta'adil, and it's a science that anybody who's familiar with hadith will know, where we analyze and scrutinize the profile and the biography of those who narrate the hadith. All this scrutiny goes through after Sahaba. No Sahabi is scrutinized, because the ruling is, and we know and fully understand that every Sahabi enjoys that closeness, that proximity, and that piety and nobility and virtue. Now if you concluding on this year, and we need to understand that there are turbulent periods in our history, there are volatile periods in our history, and there were skirmishes among the Sahaba. There's dedicated books that speak on Mushajaratu Sahaba. But we need to do this in a manner that preserves the dignity of Sahaba, in a manner that puts in balance and perspective the profile of all those Sahaba, which has not been done in this case here. So, again, when we look at it with a more clear eye, with a more critical eye, then it's much deeper than what meets the eye. You repeatedly, you're showing verses and you're showing hadith, Bukhari, Muslim, and then you get this notion that it's all Islamically quoted and Islamically favored, only to know that after the hadith, the interpretation of the hadith and the application of the hadith is totally distorted.
Well, Yusuf Abid Sab, again, this is coming in many of the SMSs, many of the emails. There seems to be an entire episode that is dedicated to discussion revolving around the 12 Imams and around the aspect of Shiism. This is obviously another major point of concern with regards to the arrivals.
See, Maulana, again, just as Maulana so eloquently now shed light on the authority and the structure of the ashab of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The moment we insert into the discussion, as they have suggested as the way forward, and what's disturbing about that particular aspect there, when they speak about the 12 Imams, they try and very subtly make mention that, listen, irrespective of what you are, whether you are an adherent to that particular belief or not, as long as you are Muslim, it's fine. And that's where the danger lies, because inadvertently what is going to happen, if people start subscribing to that belief, then inadvertently and most definitely, the third criterion of our deen, and that is the Sahaba of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, their relevance in Islam now is, again, subject to opinion and subject to disparaging remarks, as is evident in this particular series here. So we are saying, in my humble opinion, and perhaps Maulana Sulaiman and Maulana can give us more guidance, that we should follow what Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam had advised us. Because they're quoting that hadith about the family of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam also told us, "Alaykum bi sunnati," and we do not find in the series here much emphasis on the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And then the sunnah of the Khulafa